A very warm welcome to everyone. Sri Ramakrishna. Perhaps you have heard this name, but are we really very conversant with his life? Most people know Sri Ramakrishna as Swami Vivekanandaji's guru. So we bring here today this book, Sri Ramakrishna and His Divine Play by Swami Chetananandaji. This is the original book was in Bangla, Leela Prasang it's called, and Sri Chetananandaji has translated that book. Now, this was an earlier translation. As you can see, Sri Ramakrishna and the Great Masters. Again, Swami Shardanandaji's book, which is Leela Prasang in Bangla, was translated by Swami Jagadanandaji in this book here. Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, translated by Swami Jagadanandaji. This is a much older book, but today a more recent translation is done by Swami Chetananandaji Maharaj. So we will take up that book, this Sri Ramakrishna and His Divine Play by Swami Chetananandaji. Originally, it was written in 5 volumes in Bengali as Sri Sri Ramakrishna's Leela Prasang by Swami Shardanandaji, who was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Now it has been translated by Swami Chetananandaji of Vedanta Society of St. Louis. Here it says, the note by the translator, and this note is about the book also. So we will read part of this note where he is talking about what the book has to really say. Sri Ramakrishna and His Divine Play is a new translation of Sri Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasang, which was written in Bengali by Swami Shardanand, a monastic disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. This is the authentic, factual, descriptive, interpretive, and comprehensive biography of Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual phenomenon of our age. He calls him the spiritual phenomenon of our age. So then he's telling us that Sri Ramakrishna was born on 18th February 1836 and passed away on 16th August 1886. That makes 50 years of his life. And he enacted his divine play in 3 parts. First, he spent his early life, 1836 to 1852, in the rural atmosphere of his native village Kamarpukur. Second, he spent his adult life, 1852 to 1885, in Calcutta and nearby Dakshineshwar. He stayed in Calcutta with his brother for a couple of years and then moved to the temple garden of Dakshineshwar, where he lived for the next 30 years. He was in Dakshineshwar and he practiced various sadhanas, attained illumination, and began to promulgate his divine mission. Third, he spent the last year of his life, September 1885 to August 1886, in Calcutta and in Kashipur Garden House, where he brought his divine drama to its close by forming the future Ramakrishna order. So he's telling us how this book has been divided according to the way he's talking about the early period, the time in Dakshineshwar, and finally in Kashipur. Now, Swami Shardananda wrote his book in 5 volumes, beginning with volume 3 and 4, then compiling 2, 1 and 5. So he has not given any chronological sequence of his work. Now, how does he explain this? Swami Chetananandaji says, unless people understand how the master remained in bhavmukha, an exalted state between the absolute and the relative, and how the mood of a guru was natural to him, they will not be able to comprehend the master's wonderful character, unprecedented mental state, and extraordinary activities. That is why we try to make the reader understand this subject at the outset. So he's not giving any chronological sequence, and he's saying to understand Sri Ramakrishna, it is not the chronology that is needed. What is needed is to understand his mental state, how he lived in Bhav Samadhi. Then we see Chetananandaji is saying, the Swami wrote in his preface to the third volume. What did he write? The master told us explicitly again and again, he who was born as Rama and as Krishna in the previous ages is now in this sheath, as he pointed to his own body. The spiritual experience of this place, meaning himself, have surpassed even the Vedas and Vedanta. So see, what he really was is something which is much beyond our imagination. Further, he says, Swami Chetanananda says, Sri Ramakrishna experimented with and verified the truth, or God, like a scientist. He never taught anything that he had not experienced himself. Later, when Swami Vivekananda asked the master, Sir, have you seen God? Yes. Without a hesitation, the master is saying, yes, I have seen God. I see him as I see you here. Only more clearly, God can be seen. One can talk to him. Thus, Sri Ramakrishna met the challenges raised by some of his English-educated disciples and dispelled their doubts. Even agnostics and atheists were dumbfounded when they saw the master in Samadhi. He never said anything that was contrary to reason, and he always encouraged his disciples to test his words before accepting them. This life is a glowing beacon in an age that is trying to recover its bearing in a turbulent sea of opinions about religion. Further, about this book, Swami Chetananandaji is saying, this book bears witness to Sri Ramakrishna's testimony that all religions are equally valid. He found a place for each one in his own life. He first realized God by following Hindu practices and then by following the Christian and Muslim paths. Such a journey is unique in the religious history of the world. He afterwards proclaimed, as many faiths, so many paths, thus establishing an ideal harmony of religions for our present age, in which religions are in conflict and hatred and violence are rampant. He taught a religion so badly needed today, a religion that is constructive and not destructive, scientific and not fanatical, practical and not theoretical, rational and not superstitious, universal and not parochial. Truly, Sri Ramakrishna worked to create unity in our times, and he repeatedly stated that the goal of human life is to realize God. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, can be found a synthesis of 4 yogas: karma, jnana, bhakti, and Raja Yoga, and the philosophies of the 3 main schools of Vedanta: dualism, qualified non dualism, and non dualism, were blended in his teachings. Truly, Sri Ramakrishna's life is a bridge between the ancient and the modern, between the East and the West. So, this is what the author has to say about this book. So, now let us come to the index and see what it has given you. It seems like a very big book, but if we look at each and every chapter, the volume 1, this is volume 2. So, taking into effect that every volume is different, we can say this is one book, this is another book. And further down, there are different other books. So this way you can understand that there is not very much. It's not like you have to read the whole book in one day. We can read just a few chapters or one chapter or one sub-chapter a day. And every chapter has a detailed content. So in every page, see, as you can see here, the details of page number 69 are given in order, all the details. So by reading the index looks very long, but by reading the index, you can understand a lot about what it has to say. Religion is the soul of Indian life, page 69. It causes is the regular reappearance of great souls, again page 69. It's proof India's religion is based on the direct experience of God, again page 69. So if we go further down, this is how the index is given to us. And not only this kind of index which is being given to us, where each page gives you a very detailed account of what is in the book. But we also have, as you can see, I'll show you all this part, all of the contents. It's a big part, the contents of here. But it is classified in such a manner that you can understand by looking at the index itself what you will find in there without even looking too deep, because it's given so meticulously in this index. Now, this book has an index for the illustrations also. So if you want to see a few pictures, we can do that. Like here on page 85, we see it's written here, Haldar Pond in Kamarpukur, where Sri Ramakrishna bathed and swam. So if you have gone to Kamarpukur, when you read this book, you can imagine where Thakur really bathed, his schooling, where his school was, etc. Here is the place, Laha's school in Kamarpukur, which Ramakrishna attended. So clearly the picture is given to you, though it is in black and white, but clearly given. And this is a long poem Sri Ramakrishna copied by hand with his signature below. See, I'm sure you can see it. So his signature is given here, Sri Ramakrishna's. It's in Bengali. And this is the poem that he had copied. Further, we can have more pictures of Dakshineshwar Sri Mandir's, the person who built it. Who was that? Rani Rashmani. So it says Rani Rashmani, wealthy widow of Raj Chandra Das, built the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar in 1855. And this is Mathura Mohan Vishwas, Rani Rashmani's son-in-law, who managed her extensive estate. And as you can see, the genealogical table of Rani Rashmani is given here for people if you want to really look at it and want to see it and understand. Then this is the Dakshineshwar Kali temple. This, of course, is one of the pictures which is on internet and you can find and see it. But if you see this picture, this is map of Dakshineshwar temple garden. This is a rare picture which we do not get everywhere. So how beautifully this map is given to you. The goose pond, this is a pond, this is the orchard, and this here is the temple and all the Shiva temples drawn so beautifully here. This is the Panchavati. Panchavati at Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna practiced sadhana. And this photo was taken in 1900. As you can see, with such pictures, this whole book gives you a very comprehensive understanding of Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. So, as you can see, it's a thick book. It takes time to read, but very nicely put with tables and each chapter having a different topic here at the side. 13. The Bangla book has also been given like this. And finally, this is the Kashipur garden house where Sri Ramakrishna spent his last days. As you can see the picture here. This book is available on the net also, and you can find it at every center of the Ramakrishna Mission. In the Delhi center also you will find this book. Written originally in Bangla by Swami Chetananandaji and translated by Swami Chetananandaji. So I think you will have a good read. And if you think you are interested in reading this book, this is a word-to-word translation of the original book. By Swami Chetananandaji. Chetananandaji had started translating in English, but he couldn't complete it. So a very senior monk, Swami Jagadanandaji, completed this book, and it is almost a literal translation from the Bangla book. It says, Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master. This is the topic by Swami Jagadanandaji, who had translated it. This is originally by Swami Chetanananda. Hope you enjoyed this session of this book reading and the review. Do stay tuned to Devakshar. Thank you for being with us.